While checking weapons, an officer asked, "You always follow orders exactly?" I looked up from my rifle. Captain's bars on his collar. Intel insignia. "Yes, sir," I said. "That's what soldiers do." He nodded slowly. Wrote something in a small notebook. "Even orders that don't make sense?" My stomach tightened. Something about his tone felt wrong, like he already knew the answer and was waiting for me to lie. "Sir, I follow the chain of command." He smiled. Not a friendly smile. The kind that says, "I know something you don't. Sergeant Monroe wants to see you in the command tent. Now." I set down my rifle and walked across the FOB. Sand everywhere. Hot wind that felt like opening an oven. The whole time I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong. 3 days ago, we ran a nighttime raid on a compound suspected of housing insurgent leadership. Standard operation. Breach. Clear. Secure. Except it wasn't standard. When we breached the third room, I found a woman and 2 children huddled in the corner. No weapons. No fighters. Just terrified civilians. My squad leader, Staff Sergeant Dalton, came in behind me. He looked at them, then at me. "Zip tie them. All 3. I hesitated. "Sergeant, they're civilians. Kids." Did I stutter? "Zip tie them. They're coming with us." Something in his voice made my skin crawl. The way he was looking at the woman. The way his hand rested on his sidearm. I didn't move. "That's an order, Private." I looked at the children. The younger one couldn't have been more than 5, crying silently. The older one was maybe 8, arms wrapped around their mother. "No, sir." The word came out before I could stop it. Dalton stepped closer. "What did you just say to me?" "These are protected civilians. Taking them violates ROE. I won't do it." The silence lasted maybe 3 seconds. Felt like an hour. Dalton's jaw clenched. "We'll discuss this later." He called in another soldier who zip-tied all 3 while I watched. They were loaded into a vehicle and taken somewhere I wasn't told about. I filed a report that night. Anonymous. Dropped it in the JAG complaint box. Now I was walking into the command tent wondering if I'd just ended my career. Sergeant Monroe was sitting behind a folding table. The intel officer was already there. So was Dalton, and a lieutenant colonel I'd never seen before. My heart stopped. "Private Carter," Monroe said. "Sit down." I sat. The lieutenant colonel opened a folder. "3 nights ago, you refused a direct order from your squad leader during a combat operation. Is that correct?" "Yes, sir." "Why?" I looked at Dalton. He was staring at me with pure hatred. "The order violated rules of engagement, sir. Detaining civilians without cause is—" "I know what it is." The colonel cut me off. "Staff Sergeant Dalton, explain why you ordered the detention of those civilians." Dalton straightened. "Sir, I had reason to believe they were providing material support to insurgent forces. I was acting on intelligence." The intel officer spoke up. "What intelligence?" "Field intelligence, sir. Observed behavior patterns." The colonel pulled something from his folder. A photograph. He slid it across the table toward Dalton. "Recognize this woman?" Dalton went pale. Didn't answer. "She's a translator. Works for us. Has for 3 years. Her children attend the school we built 2 miles from this base." The room was dead silent. "The intelligence you acted on was that she rejected your advances 2 weeks ago when you approached her outside the medical tent. We have witnesses." Dalton's mouth opened. Nothing came out. The colonel turned to me. "Private Carter, your anonymous report triggered an investigation. The complaint box routes directly to my office." I didn't know that. Staff Sergeant Dalton has been using his position to target civilians who refused his personal attention. This is the 3rd incident. The other 2 victims were too afraid to report. Dalton stood up suddenly. "This is ridiculous. I was doing my job." "Sit down." He sat. The colonel looked at me. "You disobeyed a direct order in a combat zone. That's a serious offense." My career was over. I knew it. "It's also exactly what you should have done." I blinked. "Orders that violate the laws of armed conflict are unlawful orders. You're not required to follow them. You're required to refuse them." He closed the folder. "Staff Sergeant Dalton, you're being relieved of duty pending court-martial. Military police will escort you out." 2 MPs I hadn't noticed stepped forward. As they led him past me, Dalton leaned close. "You're dead. You hear me? Dead." The colonel's voice cut through. Add threatening a witness to the charges. Dalton was gone. The colonel stood and extended his hand. I shook it, still in shock. "Private Carter, there's a promotion board next month. I'm recommending you." I walked out of that tent into the hot sand, trying to process what just happened. The intel officer caught up with me. "That question I asked earlier, about following orders exactly." I stopped. I already knew the answer. I just needed to hear how you'd say it. He handed me something. A challenge coin with a JAG insignia. "Welcome to the right side of the fight, soldier."